Okay, this is just straight up D+, right? They're looking for the Jhin potentially. I like the Kai'Sa more, and it's not a Guma favorite. We know this, but every time the naysayers say Guma can't play Kai'Sa, he can't play Zeri, he'll pull it out in this best of 5 like this in an early game, and you're like, okay, I guess he's feeling himself today. And the Nico does do a lot for Kai'Sa in the lane because Kai'Sa struggles in so many lane matchups. Any Lucian matchup, a Lucian Braum, the Giga Lucian matchup there is tough for Kai'Sa, but when you have Nico, it's a lot more manageable. I am worried about consistent damage here for this draft for T1 though, because they have this Sion and Galio, they have this really insane front line. Kai'Sa can do consistent damage in team fights, but she's more of an assassin follow-up type champion, so this does put a lot of pressure on Guma to build some big hefty crit items and do a lot of damage later on.
In this first draft, let's get onto the riff for game number 1. Humble Life Esports versus T1. Don't really need to. You guys know
looking for a very aggressive steal here, Atlas, of this red buff. He does have Hex Flash set.
And now Owner has taken a lot of damage from this red buff and just isn't able to take it. Peanut not going to stop him taking that Blast Cone as the Brambleback just gets a little impatient.
This is a strategy you can employ when you know that at level 1, the Orianna is going to push in the Galio, and there's no help for Owner. There's no way Faker can impact this play. Take away his red buff, and now Owner is going to potentially look to cross after the Wolves. See what he decides to do ultimately, because the bottom lane is hard pushing because it's a Nico lane. Not a great ganking opportunity. He's just going to cross the river and look to match that Raptor camp.
Just thought that there was going to be a ward down there.
Yeah, he knows that's a very common place to ward, so just uses his flash to avoid it entirely.
Yeah, so that's looking to alleviate some of this, but Owner comes around, and let's see what they can actually get done here as Zeus goes between worlds. It's a lot of damage potential here as they look for the Winter's Bite. They will be able to connect it onto Gumayusi, who does get stunned up by that passive carrier completely out of the blue stuff, and down he will go. Zeus picks up first blood
there and take him out.
And what is Braum built for? Like, exactly those moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Peanut is able to take one of the grubs away. It looks like T1 are going to be able to secure the remaining 2.
And then gets to use his ult instead of TP. As we're going to see Zeus looking for a setup here for Peanut.
Speaking of ults, as the Tangle Bob's going to go wide, Carrier flashing away, just trying to draw them away from Gumayusi, but Zeus just solo kills him. Yeah, looks like HLE are coming on over to see what they can actually get to. Okay, just walk in and smite it. That'll do it.
Peanut not known for his smites this year, but in this game, it feels like the tempo vibes are real for Humble Life Esports. And T1 end up committing a lot and getting nothing.
Well, they might get Delight, who does flash out of the way of the Pop Blossom. Peanut and Viper will turn up now as the culling. Not going to quite do too much. Teleport does bring Faker in, though, and HLE does need to be really careful. Zeka making his way down, but Faker doesn't quite have the backup that he wants. Winds of War just going to be there to be annoying. Theoretically, you could just stay a little bit further away, as Owner is going to come out. Oh, the sidestep from Viper! That was slick.
Is trying to do it. It's why Guma in the late game is going to have a huge role to play if we get there. As this is looking like it's just a HLE Herald.
Well, that is the steadfast presence as the Pop Blossom does find 2. Down goes Zeus. He just gets popped like a balloon. Viper kind of untouched, but Doran is just a brick wall. It's so hard for this Lucian to do anything as the Shockwave connects onto 2, but Doran stands tall. He's got so much health bar, it's absurd. So in the end, it's going to be Zeus for Herald.
So the timing of this is kind of unfortunate for Humble Life Esports. He's the Herald, but doesn't win them the fight.
Doran is, I would say, in a little bit of trouble. Rocking a hard place, all those sorts of things. It's going to take a while, but he is extraordinarily dead. They want to give the kill over to Viper, but he's unable to get it. And Zeus will be able to lock that one down. Zombie Scion is going to be dealt with. So now HLE.
They're going to get this turret too.
Yeah, they might be able to do it, as the Herald can just be thrown down.
And, you know, just a moment ago, yeah, he's got some alone time in the bottom lane, maybe a little bit too much alone time.
I thought that was going to be feats of strength for T1, but in the blink of an eye, it's feats of strength for HLE.
Yeah. And now T1 are fully grouped down here without Doran. Doesn't have TP, trying to defend this charge.
This. Okay, well, he's just going to try and run away. 90 health on Shelly.
And he
see how the drift does go. Yeah, nice driving there. Even gets some CC onto the Crab. And then Shelly is just going to run away towards the bottom side and will be dealt with. So no extra charge or anything like that.
On to Zayas, doesn't give the T1 the opportunity to fight. Now Faker is going to be the next one to be caught in sides.
Yeah, we've seen this play, this exact play that was like 5 minutes ago, as Faker's going to get stunned up by the concussive blows. That will line up the heroic charge so comfortably.
Guma's in a really good position here, very difficult to punish.
Doran's getting impatient as he just flashes on top of Viper. He tries to get out, but the Pop Blossom was waiting for him, and Faker just bonks him on the head, lands down from the sky. That is just going to be the one pick. A lot of resources used. Every R button has been pressed to take down this Lucian, but still a fair bit of damage towards Delight. Peanut trying to be a nuisance. I don't think it's Otacon time, but it's a good pick for T1.
It is, and you know, T1 have this insane collapse onto Viper.
They had full information as this was started up, but Owner is going to get into position. This is risky from HLE as Zayas. He moves on over. Pop Blossom is going to connect once again. They look to take down Viper, and there he goes. This time it's going to be a trade, and the Poppy does secure the Otacon. But now we're going between worlds as Zayas looks for Gumayushi. Can they return the favor? Yes! And it's Peanut that locks down that kill. Now there's concussive blows on everyone. The Braum from the grave is still getting the work done as the Justice Punch onto Zeka doesn't find the mark, and Peanut is just heroically charging all over this top lane and will be able to take down Doran. Just a lonely Gargoyle left on T1.
They lose the Otacon, they lose the fight, they lose Baron, and T1 now in the back seat of game one.
And I swear, this has just been the Zayas Peanut show. The two of them have been playing so well, and who has been getting all the criticism this year? It's those two players.
It certainly is.
And seeing it here from Zayas' perspective, playing an absolutely incredible game.
No owner, and that risk for T1 I think just was not worth it. If you get the Otacon, sure, that's nice, but now you're getting way more. Okay, Faker is going to TP in, they're looking for the fight.
Yep, there's the calling as Viper turns up in the nick of time. Faker still trying to do something about this, but it is just going to be Baron secured by HLE. The interruption on the taunt, and Faker is going to get taken down. The health bars are looking low, but Peanut is a brick wall to stand in front of HLE, and they just systematically took everything from the top side of the map.
Such a close game, and then suddenly, piece by piece, some failed attempts as Keria again fishing.
Yeah, not going to quite find the angle here. They still managed to kill Zeka despite everything as heroic charge comes down. Doran dealing with a turret and Viper plus Peanut is going to be a little bit of a bridge too far, and so he will be taken out as well. Man, they just haven't been able to execute quite as well as they have in this particular game. They're going to have to do so again, though, as Faker just getting sidelined by Viper here, who is just all over him. Heroic entrance comes down defensively, but they can also use it as an offense, as Zayas might get caught, and he is just going to be put in the Cataclysm. The culling comes through, though, and Owner is going to be taken out as well. Viper relatively untouched in the back end as Faker goes golden, but that is not going to save him. And now Doran's just trying to run away. T1, it looked like they sort of had an angle, and they have half a plan, but it's the getaway that they haven't figured out.
They just don't have enough damage, Atlas, and it's a triple threat here for the side of Hanwha Life Esports. Sure, maybe you can kill one of Zayas, Zeka, or Viper, but you can't get all three, and you're never going to get 2 out of 3. As here comes Peanut up into the front line. They're looking to collapse.
And the ulti comes down from the engaged. Braum, Keeper's Verdict, gets rid of the Galio, but he's probably the one more hopeful about it. As Pop Blossom hits everyone. Zayas goes golden, so does Zeka. He's able to flash his way out the shockwave onto only one, and it's only Carrier. And so it looks pretty good here for T1. They take down the Aurora and the Orianna, but Viper is still alive. Justice Punch comes in. The front line is still there. The flash is read by Ona as Viper is just gliding away from the fight. He finds the Jarvan, and you've got 2 carries, but not the one that matters.
Not the one that matters, not the one they need to get in the end, and Viper plays it so phenomenally there in the end. Kites away, gets the kill, and if we get a replay of this, I want everyone else also to watch the snipe from Zayas with his death rattle, his last breath. Gets the pullback on his kill. It's actually absurd. Like, it's actually unreal. And then from there, that's not enough, right? Because there's just so many melees trying to get on top of Viper. And golden is Faker, right? Look at this attempt from Owner. He flashes over the wall, dashes back here, has the blast cone to play around, doesn't need it.
All right, well, we've got a teleport coming in. Faker and Doran are both very tanky.
Yeah, this is a little bit risky here for Hanwha. I mean, Delight's basically dead. Tiki is coming through from Zeka. He does have his Shockwave back available.
But they also have Gumayusi coming in. Killer Instinct at the ready. Culling comes down. And T1 are going to be... This is risky for HLE as Doran gets himself in there. He's avoided majoritively, though. And the Q does absolutely nothing. Voicing unable to get any steals. And we're going between the worlds. And what's between them? Looking like a Game 1 victory here for HLE, who will grab another Baron and look for another push.
Just phenomenal performances across the board here, individually, but also as a unit from Hanwha Life Esports. They had a massive lead early, and they just keep taking W's with it. Even with T1 trying to catch them for their greed, they just outplay them once again on this Baron, and it looks like the Nexus will explode here in about 33.5 minutes for T1.
It's not looking good. They could go for one last-ditch effort, and we'll see whether it is going to work out. But Onoman, like, just wasn't able to do anything. The Keeper's Verdict is in, and Gumayusi is out of there. Pop Blossom not doing anything here at all. And the Cataclysm comes on through, but I think we know who is at the mercy of the Cataclysm in this game. Is this time they'll be able to get Viper. Never mind, Gumayusi doing a fair bit of work, but the Shockwave is gorgeous. He will be able to go into stealth momentarily, but that's a dangerous orb. Still able to actually buy enough time, as the dead inhibitor turret will be able to almost get Zeka to safety.
Dead, unfortunately for him. He's going to come over and grab this turret at least.
Wait a second. Base race, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, actually, there's no way, right?
He's going to look for it. He doesn't have flash available, but Doran also not really able to kill him. Zeka is just here, and he's looking to go to game 2 a little earlier, but it's just not going to happen. Unfortunately, couldn't get through administration on that one, as gets out of the way of the Q from Ona, which could have been the end, as Viper looking for another culling. Faker taking so much damage here. This is still Cloud Soul for T1 possible, but Zeus is just skipping into the enemy base. And in the meantime, T1 are also losing the fight on the bottom side. 6 elemental Drakes to go down before there's a soul.
Guma is going to have to make a miracle happen here in this space defense if we are going to see this turnaround for T1.
Well, there's the Between Worlds for Zeus, already doing so much damage. Goes golden here as well, as Doran taking a fair bit. Heroic entrance just to buy some space here for T1. But Zeus just walks around it, finding these angles beautifully. Gumayusi far too low to get anything done. The self-hold flash from Zeka to hold them in position. And it's all a formality, as the Nexus is so close to dead already. And HLE will springboard themselves into a game 2 with a victory in hand.
And then Viper, 51,000 damage on Lucian.
That is a disgusting amount of damage.
I was waiting for the graph to like let me I was gonna like hammer the point in, but I didn't think it was gonna be over 50, Atlas.
Yeah,
and I was like 42 or something.
The hostile takeover should be able to get a fair bit of value, but we're just going to Ziggs.
So I was thinking he's probably not going to go for the Jhin anymore in this draft. There's just too many ways to get on top of this immobile threat. Doesn't have any escapes.
But it's also impossible.
Ziggs.
You can't play Xayah into Ziggs.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing. So like, this is what I was talking about. When you lock the Xayah, you're like, okay, if you cover the Ziggs, you're like, man, that's great into this comp. But you know, either Ezreal, Ziggs, or maybe even Varus is coming. And you're going to have a really tough time in the laning phase. You're going to have a tough time in team fights if you just get chunked out before the fights begin. And this side laning Gwen is backed up by the Pantheon, but there's still a Ryze to answer. And the Ryze has insane wave clear. The Ziggs has insane wave clear. But not to say that T1 have a bad draft by any means, but I think the Xayah is going to be a lot more difficult than what they planned for it to be. And you can see it on Guma's face. I think he was aware.
Yeah, this is a big one. Match point on the line here for Hanwha Life Esports, and T1 wanting to tie up this series. Let's get onto the Rift for game number 2.
Level 2 first for Faker, nothing crazy. I'm more interested in, we know what the bottom lane's gonna look like, which is Ziggs is going to outrange and put some pressure on. Not here at level 1, but once. And he's actually winning the lane quite heavily, and will force Viper to back and TP in.
It's kind of crazy.
It's actually going to TP top.
Yeah. So just going to be swapping the lanes here, as Doran with not a lot of blue stuff. Viper is going to be able to annoy him here momentarily, bouncing. As Gumayusi is over here, there's the crash down flash out, but over the wall comes Peanut, and Guma is in so much trouble. Satcheled and destroyed. Handshake there, top of the morning to you, says Carrier as he walks his way past. As Delight just walking on over, will find the crash down, the Room Prison in there as well. Cease and desist, and Faker will be taken out. Now Owner is going to come in, but another teleport from Carrier Vault Breaker to try and keep them safe here. As Owner finds a big Q, that should be able to disengage this one, but nothing back here for T1, and HLE find another kill.
Not what he was looking for, was hoping to at least get one and say thank you very much.
Yep, good timing does come on through as Viper with a bouncing bomb is going to find a bit of damage onto Owner. Mega Inferno Bomb comes on down, but Owner is going to be able to secure all three. First Drake and 3 grubs going over to T1. HLE needing to focus on some of these neutrals. As Doran finding a decent trade here. As in comes Peanut. Cease and desist comes down. Public execution there as well as some needlework to come on through. They get the flash out of Doran, and it looks like HLE are happy with that.
That is definitely the hope here for T1. They have full control. They've got control vision in this Tri-Brush, and
we're going to see that Faker do get spotted out there on his recall. As Owner going to face check this brush, and Room Prison comes on down. Their single target pick is revolting on this HLE comp. That is going to be Feats of Warfare locked on in.
As this is not really where Gwen wants to be. Is rooted and just kind of blasted by a Rise.
I tell you what, it's kind of nice to see Zeka back.
Yeah, no, Zeka's back, man.
I've kind of missed him. As I say that, he's just going to realm warp his way to safety.
He's really... And Doran will be stopped on his back.
Oh dear. There's Vault Breaker as Peanut coming around yet again. He'll find a cease and desist, and in fact, Doran will cease to exist.
Play-ins really helps them get into the right minds as Peanut. I don't know if he wants to commit.
Well, he will. Going to flash on in and bring the Rift Herald down to 50 health.
He didn't smite.
Yeah. Oh, wait, so never mind. He just didn't press
didn't do
the button. Let's see what happened here. Okay, so he gets... Can you get me vision?
아깝다.
And then...
Bummer.
개 아깝네. 까비.
As Owner is going to... Okay, no, there's the smite. That's what we're talking about. He was waiting for that one. Wanted to rip up.
That one was arguably more impressive than the ones he missed. Like, anyway,
I'm actually...
tried to smite it, but this time...
일단 용 레드 먹었거든.
That one was
용
much
치자
better.
이거.
As HLE will be able to take this first Mountain Drake. That one does go down. And the rest of them are actually there to defend. Let's see whether Shelly does get a charge, and she will be able to do so. It's not going to be enough to take down this turret.
We're going to see Zeka TP topside as this fight for Autocon Vision continues, and Faker is the target here.
Yeah, Vault Breaker comes in. There's the cease and desist. Mega Inferno Bomb and the public execution, and the Annie's just dead. But the rest of the cavalry will turn up. Peanut in a bit of trouble, but he makes it out alive. Zeus will see whether he's going to be so lucky, and yes, he is. He's stacked up some grasp, and he's just healthy enough. Still,
this is a really scary situation here for either team to start Autocon. I don't think they will. It's just mad. Surely T1.
The fact that Peanut can just take this dragon for free, though, is kind of insane. And T1 feel priced in to try and do something about it.
It's just so risky to actually commit to this. Delight has his ultimate, by the way, at the ready.
There's the Mountain Drake as teleport to come in. They're looking to pincer Zeka here. And Handshake is going to miss, but look at this AoE damage. Immediate flash out from the Rise as Delight finds a Magnus Storm under 3. Hostile takeover is only on the Metal Horse Pants Girl, and Doran, he has to flash away. This Otacon is now looking worse for wear, and Peanut is like, thank you very much for once again another leash.
I think this was just a risky call from T1. I get the idea.
Doran's with the Krugs. He's with the Krugs. They told him that the Mega Inferno Bomb was coming. They told him that... Not that the Vi was coming. There was a realm warp that they gave him information about.
Yeah, I think they just told him, like, nice dodge, buddy.
Yeah, almost really dead.
Well,
is that what the Krugs sound like, Wolf?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow. Well, what would you say that accent is?
I don't know.
I liked it a lot. Season Desist is going to come on through here as Faker does have Tibbers, but doesn't have his life. And Zeus is going to grab another one.
Even with your Qs.
Well, Mega Inferno Bomb is just going to soften up Gumiyushi here momentarily. They're going to try to take down this turret. By try, I mean they will obliterate this turret.
This is that T1 magic attempt. Vina has flash here, and he is Vi.
Faker is going to spot him, but unable to actually lock Peanut down or anything like that. Can he actually get into the pit? Will he be able to get the smite? The answer is no. Owner locks that one down. Hostile takeover is gigantic as well, but it's the Pantheon going down, and there goes Gumiyushi. Zeus wondering which target to go for next. As Zeka and Faker doing battle, the flash forward, and there's the blast cone to get Faker to safety, keeping at least a Baron alive, and I believe 2 more are going to survive as well. T1 with that Hail Mary are going to get rewarded for it.
Okay, it's a big win here for T1.
That would be difficult for them to deal with. Faker will be able to take this outer turret in the mid lane.
Second turret of the game here for T1.
Sure. Yep, we can see that the gold is in favor of HLE, but those tempo vibes that we do talk about They're certainly feeling like they're moving back towards T1. Mega Inferno Bomb doing a lot of work, and oh no. The Ziggs now getting an opportunity to set up, and that means this sort of stuff happens, where they all take too much damage.
And like right now, Hanwha Life Esports are just going to keep
what do you do?
Yeah, no, you can't walk forward, and Guma still has his ultimate, but he has to be so careful about how he uses it because there's a Vi, there's an Ambassador, there's so many threats. There's no Ziggs bomb here. At least you've got that.
Howie.
And like they just say, T1, if you're going to hang on this dragon, we'll just push mid. And that's exactly what Zeka is doing, and someone's going to have to answer eventually. Faker pushed off into the bottom side lane here. And Hanwha Life can look to start a fight here. Zeus on the flank.
Beautiful flank angle. It's there's a Magnus Storm. Dives on top of Gumayushi, and he's held into the sky. Featherstorm does absolutely nothing. Still able to do a fair bit of damage off to the back end. As now Owner's in trouble. Zeus looking for him. As Peanut actually just going to get destroyed. Owner finding a lot more value than I was expecting in that moment, but unable to get the dragon, and that will be secured here by HLE. And Peanut would have liked that GA in that last fight.
Kuma, this is going to be tough. He's got his flash at least, but he needs to operate so far away from Hanwha Life, and this means Hanwha Life could just get on this Baron. Zeka doing such a great job of pushing these mid waves in, while T1 run around the
look at those, the little purple circles. As, all right, Peanut going to get himself back into the pit. And the zoning is going to continue. He can just put them down perpetually. It is so annoying.
It just keeps constantly harassing and zoning as Pantheon goes to the flank.
There's the engage, trying to get on top of Viper here as the redemption goes down. Owner taking so much damage, and Delight finding huge CC into that back line. GA going to get procced though, as now Doran going golden. Mega Inferno Bomb up yet again as Doran looking to get himself out of there. Punched in the back of the head by Peanut, but Owner is able to get one back as well. He will finally go down though, and now Viper has all the space in the world.
And they've also got this full health Rise to deal with as well. Guma, he's going to have a heroic performance here. He has his flash.
Carrier is looking so incredibly low as well. They know that they cannot lose this soul as Carrier getting a decent amount of work done, and now Gumayushi taking matters into his... Never mind, he's dead. And that is going to be almost an ace because Faker is there in the mid lane, but unable to actually do anything after teleporting back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is...
this is a Baron just going to disappear right before the
Rise has 171 armor.
To a fight. As Owner is going to look for something here.
Yeah, going for a little bit of an angle, as Peanut does take a bit of damage, but Zeus is going to be there as well. Doran goes over like one mine and then almost dies. Carrier, speaking of which, he's not going to get bailed out of this one. The three-man Magnus Storm comes in from Delight as well on the follow-up, and off to the side, the Gwen is dead. The Pantheon soon to follow. A couple of kills do come through for T1 though. Gumayushi able to pick up one off that back end, but still they lose the turret, and HLE, they get a few extra on that one themselves.
Hey, we're going to get this inhibitor easily here, and with Baron and Power Recall still available, they can just get out of here. Commitment from Viper, actually. He wants more with this next wave. Just going to get the TP from Zeus back in. They're looking to end.
These turrets go down so incredibly quickly. Look at this. Every auto is ridiculous, even without the short fuse. And Gumayushi, one bouncing bomb, and half his health bar goes down. Faker's dead as well. And HLE, I think they want to go home early tonight. That is match point up 2-0.
A routing of T1 here at the start of this series. He is definitely back. Zeka is back. Viper, he might actually break records.
He also never left, Viper.
Yeah, Viper might break records for how much damage is done over the course of 3 games if they close out 3-0. If it goes 5, it might be the highest damage any player has ever done in the best of 5.
Right now he's averaging 45K.
And this into Xinjiao, I have more questions about. This one.
Well, I'm also...
It's just going to be the Smolder.
Yep, the Smolder that you were expecting. Felt a little bit telegraphed here, but it's going to be the Little Dragon that will be trying to scale alongside the Yunara in this game.
This feels like, to me, a huge vote of lack of confidence in Gumayushi that they gave this up. They think they can play the Alistair Smolder lane into this. Rakan is available. They're just going to say, no, Zeka will carry later. He's got some good ults to steal. We've got a Xinjiao Jax top side of the map. Got enough robust ways to get through this game. All we need is one dragon. We get to the late game Smolder scales, and it's just crazy the amount of power that you can have in this late game for Hanwha Life. Dagon!
Dagon's here.
He's hoping both teams have fun. Well, that isn't happening so far.
And yes, and JoJo's right there saying HLE should probably win, as she's a big HLE fan.
One game away.
I just hope everyone has fun. Yeah, sure do, guys. Every game is a blessing, and let us hope that we are blessed with more games. Let's get onto the Rift for Game 3. Gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 3. As already, we are having a bit of a ruckus here as Doran could be out of position. Peanut going to move on over and greet him. Counter-Strike comes in, but that's a Gragas. I'm glad that we got a bit of an example as to why Gragas is picked into Jax in that moment right there.
I mean, maybe they're like, oh man, this series is easy. I guess we'll just test it now. But
maybe it's not even tech. Maybe they're just like, oh no, this would be fun. Delight the old level 1 Alistair gank.
Exhaust.
As he gets the exhaust off, Zeka not going to quite find the chains. Yep, Zeka going to be able to chain up that minion, but does a lot of Twin Fang damage as Carrier looks for the angle but doesn't get it. And Faker is going to be overextended. Zeka takes a fair bit of damage, but dashes away. And back in again, as you otherwise would like to see, as HLE grab themselves first blood and a 500 gold lead in this early game.
Looking for a flank here on the grub fight.
Yeah, Peanut doing the same thing as well. As you can see, Zeka moving on in. Bit of a sneeze there from Viper, but there's the flash in. Ona finds that supreme display of talent, and they take down Peanut immediately, but Mom gets angry, and it's a double kill for the Yunara as a result. Gumayushi angry and looking for even more, as the headbutt does get Guma away. That is a decent amount of damage there as well from the W, but otherwise not going to be too worried. Ult wears off, but man, T1 looking way better here in this game. Yeah, Guma is going to rotate over. Viper dealing with the wave for now, as Wind Becomes Lightning does connect onto Carrier. Slurkle does not, but that is going to be the Drake secured. And T1 going to get 2 of them. First,
as even Peanut is struggling here to find Faker, gets the connection.
Yep, Owner is going to move on over though. Great knockup comes in. Peanut still in a bit of trouble though, as there is a brilliant ultimate from Zeka, and Mum even picks up a kill. 2 freebies here for HLE, and they are on the board, even picking up the feats of warfare. One from Zeka's perspective, hijacking this petrifying gaze.
Yeah, and then Peanut's ultimate here means that there's just nothing they could do to him. The ultimate is phenomenal from Zeka. He said, very good.
Yeah,
with a dent in that gold deficit.
Yeah, exactly. Also getting some plate money here as well, as Gumayushi going aggressive. Flap from Viper trying to get out. Does have to flash in the end. And with the quickness, it is just too hard for Delight to peel effectively.
Yeah, he does lose his ultimate as well in the defense. They just want to sit back and scale and stack. Yeah, Hanwha just need a dragon, and then they're going to be feeling like, okay, well, at least we'll get our Smolder stacks online. 50 but yeah. T1 are just going to take this Herald and crash it into the mid turret. They're like, well, if you're just going to give it up, we'll get more.
Yeah, Peanut opts in for the knock-up there as well, but is actually going to be okay, as the Rift Herald not quite able to take down the turret, but is getting very, very close to doing so. And this ward getting them a lot of information, though, as the teleport to come through from the Gragas. Same thing to be said for the Jax, though, as they make their way down. I just don't know whether HLE can get here in time. As Peanut's going to flash forward, it is going to be secured by Ona, though. But look at the damage from Viper. Gumayushi also starting to pop up, but he's taking so much on the back end. And HLE still staying amongst it. Faker now fighting them by himself. And Zeka keeps himself alive. Still flashes away from Carrier there. And T1, they take the Otacon, but they lose the fight. And now that passive is concerned.
Angle here for Zeka is pretty huge too.
Yep, Mom could get pretty angry as well, as this goes in. There's Mom down as well, so much AoE damage, but it's the Zinzao that goes down first. Petrifying Gaze is phenomenal, and T1 stand their ground. Viper is the last man standing, and can he actually get anything done is the question. The rapid fire cannon giving him a fair bit of power, but Ona, he has the smite, and it's stolen!
He still kills him!
Oh my god, he flashes forward. Gumayushi down so incredibly low. Faker does finish him off, but Viper may have just saved the game.
Viper almost just 1v3'd Atlas.
See Ona trying to find some moments here. Teleport in from Zeus, though, as we've got another fight for another soul. And let's see how this one's going to go. Viper finding one there as Peanut goes in, looking for a bit of an angle. Delight in a lot of trouble. Has to use the ulti, but the cask doesn't do anything. Doran goes golden. Viper is relatively safe at this point, but you can see T1 still going for it, but both solo lanes are dead. The Yunara is popped like a balloon, and Peanut just puts a spear into the back of Carrier, and it's only Ona left alive. HLE, I think they're poised to get a 3-0 against T1. T1 here today. That was real cute
That
from
was very
Ona.
sneaky.
So it may not be an ace, but it's still probably going to be a Baron.
I mean, he does not have flash, and I do not think he's going to be looking for a steal as Zeus is trying to end this mid turret. He is coming over here. See if he can make something of this with no real...
They have vision.
Yeah.
Okay,
Here's
Viper is just getting...
No! That was not even okay to laugh about this one.
That was extremely anticlimactic. Oh, God. And that was not what I was... It wasn't on my bingo card. Not today, as the stolen cask is going to deliver to Torin. Not exactly the ideal target. As Mum comes down, doesn't get a whole lot of value, but I just don't know whether it matters. Faker off to the side, just getting pulverized by all of these HLE members, and yells into the abyss. Doesn't find a target with the ulti. And the rest of T1, not a whole lot of options. Oh, Zeka, at least, yeah. No, that was Peanut that died. Zeka goes down extraordinarily low. So does Zeus. But Viper, he is still at full health with a GA.
Guma has to
and
survive
Zeka
somehow.
dives forward, avoids everything. Gumayushi gets charmed up and eviscerated. And HLE will march into the base, take down the Nexus.
The big damage numbers in all three games. He had the incredible 50,000 Lucian game, and then back-to-back insane performances on Ziggy there with this 3-0 victory.
And KT. So we have no T1 yet.
They trust the teamwork that is required to get this smolder off the ground. We didn't see Ruler find success with it yesterday, but you can see there's a lot of hype here for Hanwha Life. But I think not as much as it would have been if it was a hard-fought series. This is a very different reaction than the KT coaching booth upset win yesterday, where no one trusted, no one believed. But after the 2-0 start, Hanwha Life even kind of experimented in the Game 3 draft and then still came out on top. This was a very, very dominant series. I would argue the most dominant we've had since play-in started.
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't had very many 3-0s here since the play-ins began.
Only the 3-0 with the D plus Kia, right? I think that's the only one.
Yep, so it wasn't actually possible, as this is the most no-brainer POM that we have ever got, I am pretty sure.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Sierra for the post-match interview translation, joined by Viper, the POM, and Delight on the side of Hanwha Life Esports. With today's win against T1, you've earned so much. You're going to the finals qualifier and secured minimum third seed of Worlds. So how do you feel? Honestly, it feels amazing, and just getting a revenge against the opponent that we have lost against in the previously, it feels even more amazing. And aside from Viper, Delight, you had an incredible showing as well, and many predicted a 5-game series today, so what were your own predictions? Before the match started, I had already mentioned that if we win Game 1, that we would be able to win today, so that was pretty much spot on. So what gave you the edge to take a 3-0 sweep today? I think we had prepped our own setup in the game that actually made the game a lot smoother. And you had roughly 2 weeks of preparation before returning to stage. So to maintain your rhythm, how did you guys prepare? You know, we played the game very diligently. And during the practice for the playoffs, we had prepared a bunch of different draft strategies and just communication between the teammates. I think that really paid off. And Delight. In Game 1, Hanwha Life Esports quickly took our Orianna, and it actually kind of felt like you guys stole the enemy mid's signature pick. So, how far ahead were you thinking in terms of the draft? Since it's a best of 5, it's really good to sort of deny a lot of the enemy's picks. But I think our mid player has a pretty deep champion pool, so I think we were able to play around with that. And in Game 1, Viper, your Lucian just didn't die. And it looks like even if the enemy would engage first, you would hit back harder. Yeah, honestly, I noticed that the enemy was trying to dive me a lot, and my teammates were supporting me, and that's why I survived a lot. And I think I was able to stay focused with the help of my teammates. And Viper, In game 2, as your R5 pick, it was Ziggs, and your Ambessa by Ziggs synergy was crazy. So what went into developing this comp? You know, it's just the current meta. Whenever you see Ziggs in a match, you can tell how good he is. So I think that's just something that you have to make sure that you know how to play and practice. So I think today we had a really good angle to play him, so it actually paid off. And in game 3, so well, and in game 2, your rel was exceptional. So what do you think the bot matchup was like? Yeah, I think our bot synergy was really important. So what do you think the rel's role was, Viper? Honestly, Delight is really good at playing rel. And I knew that he would do his job right. And in game, how I felt, I can't really spill everything, but I think he played even better than what we had prepared today. And in game 3, you opened Yunara and took Smolder, and you guys immediately sent the Smolder top. So what was the game plan here? You know, first of all, I think draft-wise, against Yunara, during the preparation time, I think this is definitely a counter that I've been working on. And this is why we were able to proactively use this pick. And as in terms of the lane swap, I cannot share too much details. We understand, and it looks like you played Alistair with the Smolder. So how did that feel? You know, I had to create an environment for the Smolder to really scale and grow. And Viper, in the end, he actually was the one who turned everything around during the Drake fight. So I think I did my job. And yeah, you denied the enemy's Dragon Soul in game 3. Let's take a look at this replay. Can you walk us through what happened here? I think we were looking for the Gragas at first. And, you know, before I realized I was the only survivor and I was trying to kite. And the enemies moving actually gave off that they didn't have smite. So they weren't able to take the Drake. And I think I was just trying to really just skirmish as best as I can. And I ended up taking the dragon. And so how did your team react? No, Pina was the one who actually made sure that he did the spell check and he actually mentioned that Smite was down, and I think we were able to create such a nice highlight off of that. It was really the teamwork. And now, you will be against KT Roaster in the upper round 3 with the finals on the line. So what mindset will you play against KT? You know, KT is an extremely strong team, and their bot lane have been doing really well, so we will have to prepare well. And I hope that we are even more prepared to make it to the finals and be the first to reach there. And your good luck charm of the day, Delight, your mom is on site. Would you like to say anything? You know, hard work. Thank you so much for coming here. I hope you have a good night and a safe way back home. And anything you would like to say to your fans? Honestly, thank you so much for your continued support. I hope that we can keep this up. And that's the end of the interview with Viper and Delight, and back to the space. Thank you.